treating it like a threat. And one of the things that can't be attacked is your self-custody Bitcoin. And one of the things that can be attacked is the ETF. You can't be exposed to that. That's my view. It's not a good idea. And by the way, that'll hit MSTR too. It'll probably hit other stuff as well. Friends and enemies, welcome back. Canadian Bitcoiners podcast.
Friends and enemies, welcome to the CBP. Wanna be better informed? Listen to Len and Joey. Sponsors taken care of right off the top. Bull, Bitcoin, and easy DNS. The media is feeding the slop. It doesn't matter what topics discussed. Quality entertainment and information you can trust.
That's being planned or at least discussed. You know, we're not going to allow
quality entertainment and information you can trust. Send the guy some value, boost them with some stats. Bitcoin is a scarcity asset. I mean, it's just a fact. Geopolitical, national, down to the local cloud.
Friends and enemies, welcome back to the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast, where we are quantum resistant and rated B- on the debt markets. My name is Joey. That's Len. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. How are you?
No, I'm better than B-. So just as a joke today, Joey, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the bank we used to deal with, they called me today. They called me up out of the blue. Yeah.
Which bank?
The duke we dealt with. And
Duca, whatever?
Yeah.
Those
guys?
Okay.
They're saying that they had some sort of special going on for small businesses.
That's something, eh? That's something.
And I just gave them a piece of my mind. I said, thank you guys. Yeah, I told them we're outside your risk appetite. And what the fuck are you calling me for?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Hung up.
I love it.
How are you? Welcome back.
Thanks, man. It's been a busy couple of weeks. Let's do we'll do the sponsors and we'll do some housekeeping and we'll talk about what's going on tonight. A lot of big stories this week, including a couple from today. MSTR obviously grabbing a rating from S&P of B-. People are hyped about that. I don't know why. We can talk about all this stuff, but we don't have to go into detail. But yeah, it's interesting all the same because there's a lot of people getting hyped over this for no reason. But versus sponsors, Easy DNS. I enjoyed a couple of meals with Mark in Montreal. He did not get sick. So he is doing something right. Maybe his vitamin regimen is stronger than mine. I only brought multivitamins and tried to limit myself to 2 or 3 beers at the evening events and was successful with that. I got a good night's sleep every night, but wasn't enough to fend off a bug. But you don't have to worry about bugs with Easy DNS. If you use domain share, easy mail, all these things, Mark and his team have got your back. You never have to worry about your data getting leaked or sniped or hacked or whatever. Having to dig around on a 4chan forum and trying to buy it off some hacker for a couple of bucks so it doesn't leak onto the dark web. Make sure you use our promo code CBP Media. If you're hosting a website, porting a website, whatever, you get 50% off your first round of buys with Mark and the team over there at Easy DNS. We love them. You will as well. So go check them out.
Dark web, that's a name that's probably going to change in a not too distant future. It seems like it's giving.
Is it racist? Is that why?
Perhaps.
Interesting. Okay.
The underground web, something like that.
True. Anyways, true. Fair.
Let's talk about Bull Bitcoin, right? They sponsor us as well. Then we should give them their just desserts because they do a good job for us. They do a good job for you. What do? You could sell your Bitcoin on-chain Lightning. Fees are still relatively low, so definitely do your on-chain buys right now. But when fees go up, they'll be happy to sell you or buy from you your Bitcoin using the Lightning. You could also pay your bills. You could send people money with your Bitcoin. So you owe somebody fiat dollars. Well, Bull Bitcoin would facilitate that. You send the Bull Bitcoin your Bitcoin, and they send your buddy fiat dollars. A lot of different things you could do over there. They're available in Canada, not United States, Mexico, Costa Rica, Argentina, Western Europe. Oh God, I'm probably forgetting 1 or 2 countries.
Everywhere but the States, buddy. Everywhere but the States.
One day. Check them out. If you use our referral link below and sign up, because let's be honest, you want to sign up with them. Non-custodial, they're the best in the game. They're going to take a little bit off every time you do a buy or sell in perpetuity. So you might as well do that if you're going to buy from Bull Bitcoin or sell from them.
Don't forget about our third sponsor. We'll talk about 256 Heat later in the program before Brampton Man, Hamilton Man. I'm going to do a conference wrap up here, if you'll indulge me, since I was away last week. A couple of people I want to thank. Number one, Dan and Manuela Carlin and the conference team. Like, unbelievable. Just the organization that goes into that conference, man, compared to the first year when I was the MC, just an unbelievably well-oiled machine with a lot of people on the same page all day, every day, and sometimes also at night and before the conference as well. getting stuff done, making changes to the schedule, making sure that everybody's happy in their chairs, enjoying the content and enjoying the side quests as well. Unbelievable job by them. And I want to thank them for giving me another chance to host that conference. The first year, I wasn't my best self, I would say. I was a little hungover both days, a lot hungover both days, actually. And this time I, made it my mission to really focus on that task for both days. And got a lot of good feedback from them and from the people in attendance. Really love that opportunity. So thank you to them. Big thanks as well to all the vendors and sponsors and people who are just running around behind the scenes as volunteers. Met a lot of you guys, some for the first time, some, just reacquainting ourselves after, a year away from each other. Amazing, man. Len, you have no idea how many people came up to me from the crowd, from the speakers list, from the vendors, and everyone asking the same question: "Where's Len?" And
I couldn't go.
I made this joke to Boomer and D and Fundamentals and Business Cat when we were recording, and Boomer made a great comment. How many people do you think asked Nico where the other guy from Simply Bitcoin was? My guess is not many. And I realize it's Canadian conference, and I realize that maybe you and me are playing a home game at something like that, but it really did speak to me because I think a lot of people do care about the show that we do. And obviously the show's grown quite a bit in the last 2 years. And I think it goes a long way when people, make comments like that and say how happy they are to see me and meet me and ask about you and ask about stuff we talked about, like ask about my daughter, ask about my wife, ask about how life as a father is and all this stuff. Incredible. Special thanks to Larry Lepard, Corey from Hodlers made us both custom CBP shirts, Len. So I have to give you yours next time I see you at work. I just bought a jersey off of Corey. I mean, I'll forget people if I keep going, but the number of people I was super fortunate to meet and hang out with and break bread with, the Bull guys, obviously, Mark, obviously, goes without saying. Twan was there as well. Good to see the CBP sponsor roster really repping hard at that conference. And then obviously the famous, very exclusive Bull Bitcoin steak dinner on Friday night. Having a few bottles of red with those guys and their wives and their girlfriends and all this stuff, and just being around those people, man, energizing to say the least. And so a job well done by everybody involved in that conference this year. I was so honored to be a part of it, and I hope to do it again next year, man. I can't wait. It was a lot of fun. So thank you, everyone, and of course, thank you to you, Len, for holding down the fort while I was gone and sick and traveling to Monday Night Football games and all this other stuff over 2 weeks.
It was an interesting.
Yeah,
it was an interesting time. Let me just say, I had to go to an event that I had to bail out of on last Saturday. We had a family member. I don't want to go into specifics. We have a cancer patient now in our family.
Okay.
So because of that, my scheduling for the past week and a half,
been difficult.
It's been more than that. So yeah, and then on top of all this, my fucking dog got fucking sprayed by a skunk yesterday.
Disaster.
On top of all this bullshit. So be thankful, people out there, you too, Joey, that you guys have your health, because you can't fucking buy it.
Yes, sir.
How young you are, how old you are, what you do sometimes is a fucking roll of the dice. And that's what we're, so you never know when you get some bad news like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hang in there, buddy. We're all thinking of you.
Oh no, I'm fine. I'm like a rock.
I know. You're the emotionless wonder on the other side of the camera there.
Am I?
I don't know.
I wear my.
Depends on the content of the show. Anyway, you want to do some boosts?
Yeah, we have wartime 133 sats, and he writes in 4 of my favorite guys and with 3 sticks of dynamites, and this is with with Business Cat and Fundamentals.
Yeah.
But 4, who was the 4th?
Boomer
person?
and
There was
D
5.
also make an appearance in that.
Yeah, that's
podcast.
5.
Yeah. So it was a fun show. I don't think I'm included in that list of 4 favorite guys. Maybe that's just a given if he's listening to our show. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I won't use names, but I listened to Rock Paper Bitcoin yesterday and this morning, or was it yesterday and this morning or 2 nights ago? I forget. But anyway, they had some very generous words about, very flattering words, I should say, about me and about you and about the show and about Canada in general and the conference. I think everyone should listen to. I mean, I'm wearing my Rock Paper Bitcoin shirt, which I was gifted by, I won't say his name, but Business Cat at the conference. So yeah, I really appreciate those guys. They're a great hang, man. Those two. They're as different as you and me, by the way, in terms of their demeanor, age, just general kind of mores between the two of them. It's an interesting pairing, much like you and I are.
Yeah, I heard that. It was a very good episode, and they're really nice guys.
Fantastic.
I like hearing them. And Business Cat does stream us quite a few sats when he listens, so a big appreciation to him.
Shout out to you
for
guys,
support.
Man. Yeah.
Next, we have Top W Cone 250 sats, and he sends in a link for the Hamilton versus Brampton men's segment. And yeah, like I appreciate you sending that link. That was the story that I have lined up today. So it's in conjunction with what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, thank you. If anybody else has any other suggestions, feel free to send them my way. So I am going to use your suggestion, Top W Cone. I found that story just a day or two before you sent it in, and I thought it was just dynamite. So yeah, we'll have fun with that one.
Is it recent?
Oh yeah.
Oh okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not dipping into the archives here. This is very recent, and you may have heard of this one because it's recent enough. But maybe because you're busy, you didn't. Either way, Mo BTC Dick 500 sats. He says quality entertainment and information we can trust. This is with respect to the last rip you did on Sunday, the sip and
rip, man.
Thank you.
I am determined to put out more content on this channel. I told Len he should do the same. He should find a solo rip he enjoys doing and do it. I don't know if he will.
No, you have no idea how much my time is now stretched.
It's tough now. I'm gonna try and do these sip and rips. I got a lot of good feedback on it because we do. You know, how long is the show we do, Len? It's like an hour and a half. Yeah. After the housekeeping and stuff. It's about an hour, and half of it we try and give to the notable stories. And so you end up with like a whole, you're probably in the same boat. Like if I look at the stories Len sends for the show, we probably only cover 70% of them ish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of stuff on the cutting room floor that I end up just never using or talking about. So I'm going to start talking about them on Sunday over a cup of coffee. It's not much for me to do. And I may as well get some of the stuff off my chest. And like I said, in the sort of lead up, the intro, the show is growing. People obviously want to hear this stuff from us. And so why not give it to them in a way that makes sense? And I think that makes sense for now.
And we have Jer 500 sats, and he says, bless you. He says, great rip. And this is with your interview with Rock Paper Bitcoin folks.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun. Like I said, they were very, very kind gentlemen, those two from the US of A.
Last but not least, we have Bo Tummy 2024 sats. And he says, I would like to see an Edmonton versus Calgary man segment. Pretty stupid shit happens here too. We could do it.
We need a Western contingent. Is that what we need?
We got a Midwest. I think it may be time we just do a fucking show of just city versus city. Just maybe that could be our New Year's episode. Who the hell knows, right? Or
we
Christmas
could.
Just do a fucking story. Yeah.
Are we gonna do a budget episode next week? The budget comes out on Tuesday, I think, right? So
we're gonna it
might be worth it. I don't know.
Yeah, it all depends. Like I'll give you my wife. She had to sleep away yesterday. It does quite a bit. It's like we're just like busy as fuck.
You're locked in. Okay, I'll think about it. Maybe if I can get someone else to co-host it with me, I'll do it, and we'll do a little budget reaction show because I suspect it's going to be fireworks. But we'll see.
But I had to like really bend over for this one, and I wanted to on Wednesday. Mr. R Gnome is coming on because he wants to. That guy has been so good to me, to us.
Yeah.
And I just want to give him a forum. He has multiple forums. I want to give him another one. But the recent activity with the BIP 444 and the knots thing, he is very vocal on that front. And I think a lot of people would love to hear what he has to say. Good way to get brought up to speed with what's going on there. So Wednesday, probably 7 p.m. Eastern.
Looking forward to that. That'll be a great show. He's welcome on this air anytime. He's a fantastic guest, well-spoken and knowledgeable, obviously. Yeah.
And that's it for the shit I got to rhyme off here. And we could just dive. We're already 15 minutes in.
Let's dive in. Let's dive in.
All right, Trezor, buddy. Trezor, let's talk about these
Quantum.
guys.
Are you quantum resistant? Are you quantum resistant over there in your basement?
Does it look like I'm quantum resistant?
I don't know.
No. It's something that they released called the Trezor 7. Trezor Safe 7. So it's a new signing device that's supposed to be quantum ready. And not entirely sure what that means, but this is apparently the equipped with an auditable secure element chip, and that was done with this, transparency in mind. They got multiple secure element chips within this, and there's encrypted Bluetooth, and they say that you could trade while traveling with this thing. I'm a hodler, are you too, Joey? So like this doesn't impact us. It's 100% open source code, which is good, I guess. They say the quantum ready stuff means that the device can be updated in the future to have some level of protection against quantum secure stuff. So seems like a pipe dream right now. Nothing has really come out, but Trezor's really using this as a marketing tool to try to push this device. There is a magnetic wireless charging, so no need to attach a wire to the device for people that don't want to do that. So I guess that's pretty cool. It sounds nice. I like the open source thing. I like open source rather than closed source if possible. But like this quantum stuff, I'm calling bullshit on it. Let's be honest. What the fuck is this really? In the end, if you look at the history of Trezor, and Trezor has a very long history, it's spotty, right? Like, even recently, back in January 2024, Trezor disclosed there was an unauthorized access to a third-party ticket supporting system, their portal over there. Gotta love the outsourcing of this shit. They're doing the same thing. We talk about this on Axis of Easy. This happens quite often when you're using a third party to administer something like ticketing system. Another one that got pwned as a result. And what was exposed in that one, this was only January 2024. You're not a Trezor user, are you, Joey?
I don't have one. No, I've actually never had one. I had a Nano, but I obviously now I'm a CoinKite guy. So
good for you, because they exposed the names or usernames and email addresses of up to 66,000 Trezor customers that contacted customer support as far back as December 2021. And what resulted from that? Well, there was phishing emails that came, right? They were trying to trick users into attempting giving away the seed phrases, the recovery for that. And also they had another one, their third-party email marketing provider, MailChimp. They suffered a security incident and exposed email addresses of users who subscribed to the Trezor newsletter. I don't know anyone who would want to subscribe to the Trezor newsletter, but if you did, unfortunately, you may have been subjected to this. There was another phishing attack with respect to that, trying to steal user recovery seeds. But fuck, think about this. These guys are trying to secure your fucking Bitcoin. Even their X account was hacked.
Yeah.
Last year, March 2024, Tuesday, 19th March 2024, to be specific. And I want to go through this. I want you to understand what the fuck we're dealing with Trezor. And I copied and pasted this right from the Trezor blog. So I didn't add my commentary. This is not this is straight from them. They said, the breach of our X account has unfolded to be a sophisticated phishing attack planned over several weeks. From our investigation, we have understood that the attacker engaged in a calculated scheme that began on February 2024, posing as a credible entity in the crypto space, complete with a well-crafted social media presence and a seemingly genuine interest in dialogue. The impersonator, using an X handle with thousands of followers, approached our PR team over X under the guise of scheduling an interview with our CEO. Over several days, the conversation advanced with credible back-and-forth communications. This set up the stage for a call that accumulated with the sharing of a malicious link disguised in a Calendly invite. Our team members clicked the link, was redirected to a page requesting X login credentials, a red flag that prompted immediate suspicion, and they stopped interacting with the person. The meeting was rescheduled. At the time of the meeting, the actor feigned technical issues and urged the team to authorize joining the call. The authorization was, however, prompt to connect to the attacker's X Calendly app with their X account. And they did it because it's urgent. They decided to click on it, and they got pwned as a result. Their X account was fucking pwned. They can't properly handle X accounts. They can't properly do shit internally. They got to rely on third parties. I'm trying to say here, the device may be decent at best, and I'm giving this just at best is fucking decent. They have no ability to secure your information. They have no ability to secure their fucking accounts, and you're going to have them trust with their devices your Bitcoin. I would suggest you find somewhere else, some other company in which you should deal with. I'm looking at CoinKite, for instance. There's others as well that have a better track record, better devices out there. Stay the fuck away from this Trezor 7 Safe or Safe 7. It doesn't even deserve to be called the correct name. That's it. That's all I got to say. These guys are fucking a joke and deserve nothing from us. Nothing.
Okay, I'm going to take the other side of the coin. This is their best offering yet. And while it is true that Quantum Ready is a bit of a marketing term now, we will at some point in the next 5 years probably do a fork that will affect coins that are not protected by Quantum or protected against Quantum, I should say. I don't know exactly what that looks like. The technicals are a bit over my head, but it seems to me that regardless of what camp you're in on Quantum, there is an understanding that we have to make a change. The only question is, what do you do with the coins that didn't make the change? Do you allow them to be hacked and stolen and sold, or do you force the protection? You know, we talked about this on the show before. So that's not nothing, but for the time being, it shouldn't factor into a purchase decision, I don't think, if that makes sense. As far as the hardware device itself, like, you know, this is the best thing that's not named a cold card, I would say. Open source, it's pretty high quality hardware. It's always been high quality hardware from a sort of design perspective, which is important, I think, if you're trying to get people to adopt. If you're trying to get people to adopt self-custody, you need to be appealing aesthetically, because you're now competing against things like ETFs and brokerage accounts and whatnot. And, you know, while it's not the most pure form of self-custody, I do think it's better than those things. And so I don't want to dismiss it outright. The thing I wish they would do is just stop with this altcoin stuff. Altcoin support means a wider surface area for attack. We see this over and over and over again. As soon as you link up with wallets and MetaMask and all this other stuff, you are asking for trouble with your holdings, Bitcoin or otherwise. So you have this problem. I don't want to say that these guys don't deserve any credit. Like, you know, are they headed the right direction here? I mean, you said it yourself. You have some stuff here that, well, it's not as, you know, sort of pure and without issue as cold card. It's better than their last device. And I would argue that probably without much controversy, this is going to be a much simpler device to use than any cold card model. Doesn't mean it's better? No. Doesn't mean that people shouldn't learn? No. But as a first step, it's better than any of the other things we talk about on this show being a poor first step, ETFs and whatnot, that are difficult to really get people to take into custody and things of this nature. So yeah, I think there's something here. I know a lot of people who use Trezors, by the way. You know, talking to people at the conference, a lot of different wallets out there that people like. I think people are correctly moving away from Ledger because the Ledger leaks have been bad, but also the Ledger recover thing is just I think a brain dead decision by those guys. And yeah, I think that FUD is legit, but I don't see the same level of issue here. Now, you mentioned the Twitter account and the email thing, you know, third parties. Yeah, that's a problem. They should resolve that. But directionally, this is okay with me. It's going the right way. Am I going to get one? No. Do I recommend that anyone else get one? Probably not. You could do better with the cold
That
card,
should be
especially at this price. You could do better with the cold
those
card
two questions that you answered. Number one, you're not going to get one. Number two, you're not going to recommend it. That is enough to say.
This is the thing I'd recommend right after the cold card. It'd be this.
See, I would say Seed Signer. There's far better devices.
It's too hard. It's too hard. People who want to do self-custody for the first time are not going to get a Seed Signer. I love the enthusiasm. Like, you and I disagree on this. Obviously, I love the enthusiasm. I think you're correct that those are good devices and it's an important learning process. But no one coming from an ETF is going to a Seed Signer. They might go to this though.
You have to understand, an ETF is anything but Bitcoin. It's just something that is.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you. Not disagreeing with you there.
So there's nothing there that is Bitcoin aside from the price. Mostly, even that, you have to be subjected to management fees. So when you're talking Bitcoin, and we're talking about your identity, your information, you don't want to give that up. And their track record speaks for itself. They may release a good device, but we're not talking ancient history here. We're talking just last fucking year that these things happened. And so for me, when I'm looking at that, it's hard to forgive something that recent. They need to cleanse themselves over a longer period of time and issue better devices. I know that the NVK was out there talking about the secure element chip. It's a TROP ICO1. That's the one that's included in this. And he was very negative about this, saying that this was never used in an intended form of signing partially Bitcoin signed transactions. Partially signed Bitcoin transactions, sorry. That's way beyond my pay grade. I respect NVK, and I'm going to basically listen to what he's saying on this. He might be biased, given his stance.
Doesn't mean he's wrong. Doesn't mean he's wrong.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So these guys, I don't care if they present a good or better thing than before, but it's still not the best. Like, it's still something else. It's like you asked me, would you rather get shot in the leg or the arm? And one is better than the other. I agree, but I would rather have none of them. I'd rather get fucking not shot and hold on to like my cold card, which is essentially, or something similar to, like, I'd say a seed signer is pretty darn good. But I think we just respectfully disagree on this. We've been in this space for long enough. We've been doing the show
4 years almost. Yeah.
4.5 years.
Yeah. 5 years almost. You're right.
Yeah, that's a long time, right? Like, I can understand maybe at the onset, maybe we could, we didn't have all the information. We're still kind of a little wet behind the ears. Yeah, okay. We were talking about Ledger and Trezor being a little bit as a better alternative, or the alternatives
when we first started, sure.
But not now, man. Like, you've gone through this so many fucking times. We see so many people get rugged. If you secure it properly, and people used to remember telephone numbers, many of them, for their friends and family.
Yeah.
12 words. If you really want to boil it down, if it's your fucking wealth, it doesn't take that much to fucking remember that. Like,
I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I am slowly becoming a more pragmatic evangelist, in that I don't think now it's worth my time to convince people that they have to go with, the thing that's more difficult. But, if you use the same like passphrase, seed phrase, you stamp it out on some metal, you stash it somewhere where you can't get it, and you don't go crazy on the device itself with all this other nonsense. Like, let's face it, you're in pretty good shape. You're in pretty good shape if you can do those things. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Trezor has never had a hardware hacking issue that ended up with lost coins, save for one time, which I think Cold Card also actually had one, where if someone buys a device, has sophisticated equipment and unlimited physical access to the device, like, can it get into some of the data? Yeah, but can it get the coins is a different story entirely. And I don't think it's happened on any of these devices. So, all that to say that there are levels to this, as kids say, and I don't know where I come down on, should I dismiss this outright? I don't think that I will, but as always though, Len, I reserve the right to change my mind. Time will tell. If this thing turns out to have problems, or there's a hardware issue, or this chip is not, as NVK says, fit for this use, then we go the other way. We tell people when things change. That's what this show's about. And
I'm steadfast on this thing, because you know why, Joey? The what do you call it? The what Ledger did podcast?
What Ledger did? Yeah.
You coined that, right?
Maybe, I don't know. It's been a while now.
So somebody like that, and when he used to do the show, he's been in the space, even like when he was doing the show, for a long time. He should have known what you should be steering people towards, and he did it in such a way that he steered them to a device that has issues, that they've lost not people's coins but people's information and shit like that. That's the wrong way. That's not where you should steer people right off the bat. Like, show them the best, and if they want to get something worse than that, that's their choice. But at least your conscience is clear. Like, you show them the best, and that's the way I'm gonna be. Like, I know it's harder to use a cold card, but let's be perfectly honest. Like, this is not something that you have to be fucking around with. If it's your wealth, take the time, take the effort.
Yeah, I don't recommend messing around, for sure. But Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Great.
CZ. Let's talk about CZ.
Pardoned.
Incredible by Trump, right? He served something like 4 months in prison.
Did you? Okay. Let me ask you. Did you watch the video where Trump is asked about pardoning CZ?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't even know who that is. Some
That's
people told me
my
that.
fucking problem. See, that's my fucking problem. He doesn't know who he is, and he doesn't know much about him aside from the fact that he has lots of support. CZ has lots of support. Who was it? Because somebody within the Trump camp, Eric Trump, maybe, I don't know, was banging the war drums, having them say, "Let's get this guy a pardon." And I know Trump was saying that in that press conference that CZ was being persecuted by the Biden administration. And that's one of the reasons why he went ahead and did his pardon. He did a plea bargain, CZ did, and it was due to anti-money laundering stuff. And that's, Binance was failing to employ the anti-money laundering stuff. And that's why he went to jail. But if you recall, at least that's, I believe it is, if you recall, Binance was apparently instructing U.S. customers to use VPNs. They were saying at least as early as 2019 April, Binance published a guide on, this is from the U.S. government, on the Binance Academy section on its website titled A Beginner's Guide to VPNs. Binance VPN Guide explained to Binance customers that if you want to be private about the websites you visit and your location, you should use a VPN. And Binance VPN Guide also hinted you might want to use a VPN to unlock sites that are restricted in your country. So they were telling people directly or indirectly, depending on how you want to read
I would say that's directly.
I agree. This we discussed at length.
Yeah.
This was back in 2023. He runs a centralized exchange. Now, if you want to run a centralized exchange, you have to follow the rules of the land, right? If you don't, you're going to have a bullseye that's going to be placed on your back. And something happened to him here, so he had to go to jail. But with respect to the pardoning, something smells fishy here. If you go look at this, there's rumblings that Binance and World Liberty Financial, we haven't talked about them very much. This is the Trump camp is involved with. Binance has become a key supporter of that company. World Liberty Financial, they have a stable coin. The code from their stablecoin came from Binance. They wrote all the code. And there was also a $2 billion investment made in the company that either came directly or indirectly from Binance. A lot of bullshit going on here. Like, what I'm looking at is insiders getting preferential favoritism, all this treatment. And you and I are just like, look, Trump, this version of Trump, brutal, absolutely brutal. I don't give a shit about the tariffs. It's just other things. It's just looking like it's about trying to make as much money as possible for himself, his friends, and his family. And this is another one, just doing a favor, doing a solid for one of your folks. It's bullshit. It's absolute fucking bullshit. What could we do?
I don't really, this doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. I think that the one thing I appreciate about Trump too is that the grift is front and center. So I know that he's pumping markets. I know that he's pumping Bitcoin. I know that his kids are out there pumping alts and pumping Bitcoin. I know that he's, taking what's probably the generous term would be donations for this ballroom. I appreciate that I can see it right out in front of me here and map out, where things are coming from and what they're doing. I would recommend to people that instead of getting mad, when one of the Trump kids tweets out on a Friday afternoon, buy Bitcoin, just buy some. When one of the Trump kids tweets out on a Friday afternoon, I would hate to be selling Bitcoin right now, buy some. When Bo Hines, who just worked in the administration, sells, man, it'd suck to be somebody who was selling Bitcoin, buy some. Like, don't whine and cry. Not that you're doing this, but don't whine and cry about, oh, he's enriching himself. Oh, he's doing this. Just get rich with him. There's two kinds of people in this world. There's people who play within the system and the rules that they see laid out in front of them and take the opportunities presented, right? And then there's people who complain and cry about it and stay poor and annoying and eat veggie burgers and crickets for the rest of their lives. Which one do you want to be, Anon? You want to be the one that took the advice? The president of the United States tells you when to buy stocks in Bitcoin, and you want to be the guy who's bearish, who's like complaining about the grift. Like, I don't recommend that. I think that is you will find yourself to be spiritually distressed with enough time. Just ride the wave, man. He's telling you when the wave is coming in. We're lucky. The other president couldn't even string a couple of words together. This guy's telling you when to buy stocks. You can't beat that.
You're normalizing garbage behavior.
It is garbage behavior. But the thing is that everyone is doing it anyway.
Right. So that doesn't mean
advantage of it.
You may take advantage of it, but it does not mean we should accept this and say this is something we to strive to become.
Run for office.
I have no desire to, but at the same time, I could call out what is bullshit and what is not, and this certainly is bullshit.
It is bullshit for sure. Yep.
Right. And so, what are we gonna just say? Oh, just do whatever you like. No, man. We got to strive for something. But this is when the next election comes around. Are you going to go for the one that is going to present the best thing for you? Probably, right?
I would
yeah, somebody that has character, or something that's right, like somebody that is decent. You know, if they're going to be out there and just going to try rape and pillage, and you could be parting of that rape and pillaging crew.
Yeah,
you're just bringing down the system.
They're going to do it anyway. That's the thing. I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, we should want more from our great men and women, right? This is the goal in politics, right? There's, certain historic thinkers who would make the case that politics really should be governance by the great, and what we get instead is governance by the people with the biggest PR invoices, and it shows, right? Everything is a soundbite. Everything is 30 seconds. I look forward to the next election, either here or in the States, because I think the candidates coming through the pipeline are going to be truly TikTok brained and just grifting like we have never seen before. Because at the end of the day, you know what the other thing is, Len? The empire is in decline, clearly. And so you're running out of time to really rip out of the trough all the sweets and goodies and bonbons and riches that you can. The trough is starting to empty out. And so it's only going to get worse here, regardless of who we put in power. It's only going to get worse because that's just the way this has to go.
It's always been getting worse for the past 54 years.
54 years.
Right? So it has been getting worse, and we all know the reason why. It's just the rate of change and how quick it's happening. Ultimately, I mean, this is the way I look at it. You want to have a decent life for yourself, for your kids. You don't want to live in fear of being mugged or killed or having your house ransacked as you leave the house, or even while you're living in it while you're still there. Like, you want to be living in a civil society. At least that's what I believe we want. I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody. That's what I want. So I want to make sure that moving forward that we are well represented. We have people out there that hopefully have the best intentions. I don't suspect. I'm not gonna hold my breath that it's gonna be the case, though. Right? That's just the reality. But just because it's shit, I'm not gonna accept shit. I'm gonna call out bullshit, and this is bullshit. I'm gonna call out. I'll do it again next time that happens.
Yeah.
Fuck it all. BC woman. Let's talk about this article that was posted by, I think, Bitcoin all caps on the Bitcoin CA subreddit.
The captain of the subreddit.
I hope he shows up on Wednesday too. Either way, the article is titled "BC Woman Who Lost $670,000 in Crypto Scam Fails to Recover Funds in Supreme Court." And she went to the BC Supreme Court. A decision came out, and it was involving, her name wasn't released for whatever reason, maybe because it's too embarrassing. I don't know. Either way, she didn't want to release it. She was convinced by a new friend to send a small amount ranging from $500 to $1,000 in this investment, which would have generous returns. And the returns would be in the range of around 1% per day. If that's not a red flag, I don't know what that
wasn't there another token like 2020, 2021 era that was giving the same thing?
1% a day?
Yeah, and it was like and eventually people everyone kind of knew that it was a scam, but they're like, I don't know, maybe there'll be someone else who comes in after me, and so they were like trying to. I don't know. I can't remember now the name, but it feels like it's been like a lifetime since that was the norm. But here we are.
I don't remember. Must have memory hold that. 1% a day is amazing returns. It only takes you, I guess, like, a couple of months of that. You're living on Easy Street. Either way, in order to get the funds, she had to like put into this thing. She fucking remortgaged her house and borrowed money from a friend. And so she opened an account with NDAX, that's a Canadian exchange. And on opening the account, she was presented with the user agreement, which she had to review and accept. She did not read the agreement. She claims that. Obviously. And she clicked on the accept button so that she could open the account. And then she bought $671,000 worth of ETH. She withdrew this to an external wallet. She tried to initially. She received a warning from NDAX. NDAX was trying their best here. They trying to confirm with her that this is indeed her address. An employee called her directly to warn her that this is likely a scam and then she should not go ahead with the transaction. Even emails were sent from her to NDAX saying, withdraw this immediately. Then 4 fucking times they got in touch with her. It was a compliance officer that recorded a call that informed her that there's risks involved here, that she might be involved with some fraud. And if this is done, the transaction would be irreversible. Well, it went through, money was lost. And then the Supreme Court decided that NDAX did their thing. They tried very hard to make sure that she wasn't she was not to get her scammed. And the wallet was indeed a scammer. I can't believe people fall for this. People of means. She had to remortgage a house. So she had a house for a number of years.
Yeah.
Boomer, right? It had to have been a boomer. Fucking, right? Like, there's so many red flags, especially nowadays. There's lots of scams going on. When you hear somebody out there invest in my project, you get good returns, run the fuck away. There's nothing here that is a free lunch. There's no free lunch here. The good thing about Bitcoin is when you buy Bitcoin, there's no yield coming from it. There's nothing. You basically own Bitcoin, partial Bitcoin, what the fuck it is. That is it. The value of that may go up and down over time, but that in itself doesn't change. When you deal with these things here, where does the yield come from? Is there a centralized body running this? Can you get rug pulled? There's so many fucking red flags here. People out there, they just need to do a little bit more reading into something. Like, I don't know what else to say. NDAX, they fucking did a great job. I don't want to talk. They're a shitcoin exchange, but they tried very hard to make sure she didn't get rug pulled, and she did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she went to the Supreme Court of BC for this.
Tied up valuable resources. Yeah.
What a joke.
I want to point out that Bull Bitcoin, if you try to buy Bitcoin and you're a boomer, somebody will call you. And if Bull Bitcoin decides that it's a scam, they won't let you buy the Bitcoin. They'll just tell you, no, go buy it somewhere else. NDAX should have done the same thing.
They tried.
No, they didn't. They let her buy it. So Bull Bitcoin will not let you buy.
Oh, so they have a hard stop.
Or somebody will call you and be like, listen, grandma, I know you want to do this. I know you think it's not a scam. I'm telling you it's a scam. If you want to do it somewhere else. NDAX, all these exchanges should be doing the same thing. I realize that's a bit, surveillance-y. I don't know what you would call it, but like these people need to be protected from themselves. The boomers are dumb. They're dumb. They get one-shotted by AI slop, one-shotted by this, one-shotted by that. It never ends. Like what, I have no sympathy for this person though, unfortunately, because the nerve to try and blame the user agreement, the EULA first. I never read it. I just clicked through. Okay, well, should have read it. And then to blame the exchanges, and then to try and take it to the Supreme Court. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Have a little shame. I made a mistake. Sorry. I won't do it again. I'll turn my computer in. I'll return to the AOL online days. Walled garden only, nothing else.
You got mail.
That's it.
All right. Last week, I was chatting with Boomer about this discussion, the AWS outage.
Yep.
And I was talking about somebody should run the numbers to see how many, to do an analysis on the nodes to see if any nodes, particularly the NOTS nodes, because there's been this discussion out there that NOTS numbers are going up, and some people are claiming maybe people are using a third-party service, like an Amazon service, to spin up a node. So it's not a legitimate node, so to speak. So while we had AWS go out, and it was an excellent opportunity to look at how many nodes were online before the outage, during the outage, and after the outage. And Bitcoin All Caps posted on X, it looks like that the number of NOTs users went up during that whole transition. So there was a continuous movement of people getting NOTs and installing it. And in fact, Bitcoin Core count went down by about 5,000 in total, which is very interesting. So this isn't really definitive, but it's at the very least something, a talking point, because there are people running Core on Amazon servers, if this is accurate, or there's few NOTs being run on Core. But at the very least, it goes to show you that there are people that are doing this, and I don't know, it's just something about this that I smile about. I like to see that the NOTs team, with respect to like them running their nodes, their clients on a third party, doesn't seem to be accurate. I like that.
Yeah,
and I know NOTs took a beating, and they're going to continue to take a beating next little while. The image has been it's been tarnished today. We'll talk about it on Wednesday.
There's a lot going around, man, with the NOTs versus Core debate in Lugano. Is it Lugano or Prague that just happened, where there was like a couple of big debates? Yeah, and there was like a few, I guess, heated moments between Mechanic and Livera and Luke Dasher and a few other people. Like, I saw online Stefan Livera being called a bad actor now by people. Like, he's pretty harmless. He's a guy who just hosted an Austrian economics podcast. I'm not convinced he's a bad actor. He may have a different opinion than other people, but I do think this has been probably the most hotly contested Bitcoin debate since we got in. I think it's even worse than that, because the ordinals, you're debating with idiots, right? But here it seems like people on both sides are like sort of recruiting what they view at least as like the best and brightest. The ordinals debate was with people who said like, oh, well, I want to put JPEGs on the blockchain. Like, okay, I guess it's a debate, but it's not really a debate the same way this is.
Did you remember how high the transaction?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, sure.
So there were, and it was enough momentum there that Mara decided to spin up the Slipstream service.
Yeah,
and is still in operation as of today.
Yep.
So I don't know. I would say that there was at that time some level of like, what the fuck is going on here between the two camps? To a degree, what we have now, debatable, but yeah, don't dismiss that time. It was.
Where do you think this is going to land? I mean, I've asked you this before. I'd be curious to hear what Noam says on Wednesday. But where do you think this is going to land?
I think that Core is probably going to be pulling back a little bit. So their 100,000 kilobyte limit for op returns probably is not going to remain. They'll go something lower. Maybe go back to the 83 byte limit. That's a huge difference. That's my guess. But we'll see what it was. 100,000 bytes. I don't know what the fuck it is.
I can't remember. I honestly have not been paying attention to this for the last like 3 months. I don't care anymore.
Okay, this story feels like 2021. JP Morgan. Not sure if you saw about this one.
Yeah.
It's a Jamie Dimon run company. They are intending to allow institutional clients, their customers, institutional only, to use Bitcoin as collateral for loans. And they want this to be put in place by the end of this year of 2025. And JP Morgan won't hold on to the coin themselves. They plan to use a third party to do it. And they already allow Bitcoin linked ETFs as collateral. So this is going another step, just allowing for the actual asset for these institutional clients to take advantage. Remember, not too long ago, Jamie Dimon was saying that he was digging in his heels too against Bitcoin, that he was calling it a hyped up fraud and pet rock.
Yep.
And I guess now it's on par. It's matured enough because now it's on par with stocks, bonds, gold, whatever else. And they were considering doing this offering back in 2022, this type of collateral service. So it's not like this is the first time this has come out. It's just the first time they're actually going to go ahead and do it. But remember, in 2022, we had Luna, we had Voyager, we had Celsius, BlockFi, FTX. All that happened, and the rest is history. And Dimon was recently quoted saying, "I don't think we should smoke, but I defend your right to smoke. I defend your right to buy Bitcoin. Go right at it." I like that. I agree with you.
Yeah. Do you? You like that?
You know what? If people want to smoke, go right ahead. It's your fucking choice. And if you want to buy Bitcoin, go right ahead. It's your choice. If you don't want to, fuck you.
It feels to me. It feels to me. I tweeted this the other day. I realize this is institutions only. I'll try and get the word institution out through these retainers. But isn't it true as well that there has to be a move toward accepting this stuff as collateral, because people no longer have what was traditionally considered collateral: giant equity portfolios, treasury notes, real
You
estate.
mean you're running out of collateral?
I just think they don't look at collateral the same way. People my age don't have a bunch of collateral there, but I have Bitcoin.
But you're not an institutional client.
I'm not, but I'm saying like usually these things are going to trickle downhill. So I think that what I'm saying is it's going to start there, and then you're going to see, much like in the States right now, you have to include, or banks have to include, or are about to be forced to include through some legislation, crypto net value in mortgage applications. So like all this stuff is heading this way. And I don't think it's necessarily anything to do with JP Morgan suddenly views this as valuable. What I think is, to protect the portfolios they have to keep that flywheel going. And how do you do that? You need buyers. And if you need buyers, those buyers need collateral. And if they don't have the collateral that you're used to, then you better find some new collateral, because otherwise the whole thing falls apart. And I think that's what you're seeing here. And you're going to see this, like I mentioned there, you're going to start with institutions, you're going to leak down to individuals over time. And I think it's going to be ultimately done to protect the boomers. Like I don't see how they can say to people, you can't buy a house because we don't value your Bitcoin. Well, if you don't value Bitcoin, then I can't get the house, and the housing market has a problem. I think you're going to start seeing this more and more. I think.
Look at it from a different lens.
Go.
It's for institutional clients only. What happens? And the fact that they're doing this now, I think there's a reason. Remember, they were talking about this back in 2022, so it was always on somebody's back burner. These Bitcoin treasury companies out there, some of them in the past few months, they've been getting wrecked. Today, not so much, but if you look at it, if you zoom out over a few month period of time, absolutely wrecked. So it might be an opportunity for JP Morgan to offer up some level of service like this to those customers that may be starving for some capital. And in turn, if things continually go bad, it might be a way for JP Morgan to accumulate a whole bunch of Bitcoin on the cheap. If things continue the way it's going right now, it don't take much for some of these to capitulate.
I don't think you're wrong. This is in the same vein as the MicroStrategy S&P rating, right? Like they just got a B- S&P rating, which, I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I just saw Mark Moss tweeting like, oh, this means that trillions of dollars are unlocked. Like that's a retarded take. Trillions of dollars not unlocked. Okay. Mark Moss. B- is basically junk high yield. So they're not getting any. Yeah. They're not getting any new buyers at that level, at that rating. What they are getting is a door kicked open maybe for future higher ratings. But for now, like it's really meaningless. But to your point, there is, I think, a change in the way that some of these companies are thinking about Bitcoin. And maybe it's, would you say that what you just described there is a hair of nefarious thinking in the way that they're addressing this, right? Like they can accumulate that Bitcoin if something goes sideways. The treasury companies have all this Bitcoin. Yeah, maybe. But I think, overall, that what you have to look at is there's a lack of pristine collateral now, because people feel like real estate's not pristine anymore. They feel like gold may not be pristine. They feel like treasury bonds for sure are not pristine. So where do you go? You have to go somewhere down the list of things. Bitcoin makes sense. Like I think Bitcoin is good collateral personally. And I plan on using it as collateral at some point. I don't want to sell. It's easier to use it as collateral for other stuff. So I am happy to see this. Canada way behind in this regard, but soon we'll not have a choice but to catch up. Yeah, I don't think we have anything like this. Certainly it's not involved in your mortgage calculation. That's for sure.
The only thing I consider that's remotely close, and it's not offered to Canadians, but Ledin, a Canadian-based company.
Yeah.
You're able to borrow against your Bitcoin. And they've been offering that for
Can't do it here anymore.
Yeah.
So we're way behind. Way behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That MSTR news, that's interesting. I'm wondering now if they're going to take advantage of it, because now given the fact that they're sitting on what, like 700,000 Bitcoin. I forget the number they have right
a lot,
now.
a lot. Yeah.
And then, so if they want to get new capital, and depending on what sort of terms JP Morgan is offering, wouldn't MSTR then look at this and say, let's do this?
Here's the thing. The MSTR news, like they had this rating in 2024 and asked for it to be removed. They wanted to have that rating stripped. They were regraded, whatever. They got the same rating today from S&P. Okay, so Standard & Poor's gives you the same rating a year and a half later, and everyone celebrates. I think it does show that people are not paying that much attention. I was talking with Fundamentals about this in their Telegram chat this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. It shows people are not paying attention, because to get this excited about this, even though it already happened a year ago, like, you're kind of giving yourself up a little bit. And like I said, the B- grade is high yield junk, basically. So again, you're not getting any new buyers. For the people who think it's like pensions and endowments, no, pensions and endowments are not coming. Does that mean pensions and endowments have no high yield junk? No, it doesn't. Of course they do. They have an allocation to that because they need the yield. But there's many vehicles you would go to first before you go there, because of Bitcoin, because of Sailor, because of whatever, right? There's a number of reasons why a board or an investment group would opt for another vehicle. So I don't think it's a big deal at all, except to say that maybe down the road now, other companies in the S&P who want to have their debt graded, is B- the floor now, or is it the ceiling? I don't know, but there's a lot of hype about this. I just think like it doesn't matter. And actually, I was talking to SB about this before the show. He left a giant voice note about it, and that's where I got the high yield, B- being high yield junk. And if you look, you can just go on the internet and look and see what else is like graded higher than that. There's a lot of stuff that's higher than that.
You mean
yeah,
better, like in terms of like,
yeah, the grade,
point to A's or something.
The grade, the yield, and by the way, the volatility, right? Like the thing is that the MSTR debt will move way more on market moves than like Apple's debt will, or like SB said, T-Mobile debt or whatever will, right? So you have these other considerations in debt markets that you want stability in debt markets. You don't want, a 20 basis point move on a Bitcoin drop, but you will get that in MSTR debt. And so I don't think you're going to see the rush to this vehicle that, the sort of Punter Jeffs and other people are saying that you might get. I disagree that you're going to see that.
Who's Punter Jeff?
Jeff Walton. He's a nice enough fella, actually. Excuse me, met him at the conference, but he's an MSTR guy and an overall Bitcoin treasury guy. And I just think a lot of hype. I love the hype. I love the enthusiasm. I'll never get mad at somebody for being enthusiastic when I think they're, speaking honestly and not trying to scam people. And so I don't think he's doing that. I just think it's a little bit misplaced in this case.
If you are in Bitcoin and you have been in Bitcoin for a long enough period of time, there's no way you would recommend somebody to say, start buying this shit.
No, I wouldn't.
Stop. Don't buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's garbage, but this is better than Bitcoin.
Yeah, I would not make that recommendation. You're correct.
Yeah. I can understand it if you're like just getting into Bitcoin, you're a fiat bro, and you're just getting into it, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. I could excuse you. I'm not gonna say that it's the right call. Right. You just don't have the right knowledge. You don't have all the knowledge. But if you've been in it long enough, like that's why when I look at these people, these BTC guys, Bitcoin Treasury company guys,
what's the acronym there?
BTC.
Bitcoin Treasury, BTC guys.
I can't give them much time because it's just like you're giving the wrong information for where you are in your Bitcoin career.
For the beginners, yeah, for the beginners.
Like if you've been in it for long enough, you would just run away from this stuff. But I guess the last story we'll say really quick because we're running up against an hour. Mt. Gox information just today that they're going to be extending the repayment. And it's going to be extended up until October 31st, 2026. So if you are one of the people that were impacted by that and you are thinking maybe you get something soon, you may, because I think they're doing it in tranches, but it's going to be done as late as October 2026. This is why you don't want to use a centralized exchange, or if you are using one, you don't want to leave it on a centralized exchange, because if you do that, you get Mt. Goxed. The likelihood is probably very low, but the fact that there is a likelihood makes you, at least you should consider pulling your shit off and sleep better at night.
Things have changed a lot, but the more they change, Len, the more they stay the same, you know?
That's it, Joey.
Let's
think
move.
We're done.
Notable North. Stay here if you're on video, on Twitter, on wherever. And if you're not, then come back tomorrow for the back half.
Don't buy into a Bitcoin treasury company. Or all that bullshit that goes along with it.
That was 1 hour on the nose, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's going to be easy for editing. Yeah, I like that. All right.
I saw that. Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
All right. Want to talk about how South Korea is doing that universal basic income stuff really quickly? Just
the UBI crowd is about to just get a tidal wave of wins. A tidal wave of wins. They're going to be there. It's going to. Mamdani's going to try something like that in New York. We're going to see something like that in
York?
Canada.
Does he have the ability to do that?
Like he'll try whatever. I mean, it's UBI if daycare and buses and all that other stuff is free. Like those people.
But his aunt can't even ride the fucking subway. How could they
that was a lie, by the way. His aunt was living.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
What a shock. He lied. Oh my goodness.
Well, allegedly.
Talk about South Korea. Then we'll talk about New York maybe next week because their election's on the 4th, I think. So
well, they're going to be giving out looks like around $180 a month in UBI to a number of different areas in South Korea. And this it's a pilot project. Ontario did the same not too long ago. Hamilton was one of the regions that had it, if you recall. And yeah, so UBI, you're right. I think there's going to be a lot more discussion about this in countries that are getting wrecked, where people are not able to fend for themselves and they need some sort of handout. Food banks isn't covering it. So what do? They ask for the government. The government looks at this. Okay, let's try this out, see if it works. In a perfect world, if there's no debt, you're not running a deficit, maybe, I could discuss this. But when there is an ongoing deficit in these nations, when the debt continually goes up year over year, doing something like this is just kicking the can down the road. It's not solving the problem. It's like you have a gunshot, you're putting a gunshot wound, you're putting a Band-Aid over it. Like, sure, it's going to help you at least temporarily, but you gotta fucking
UBI is just so stupid. It's just such a stupid, brain dead policy.
We have all UBI systems right now with like Canadian pension plan,
whatever.
Right? That is a pseudo UBI.
The
right?
pension, at least you allegedly are paying into it enough to see how much longer that lasts. But I don't understand. Like,
there's old age security.
Who are the proponents of UBI still? Floyd Marinescu. Like, he's a proponent. Yeah, I don't view him as a con man. I think he's wrong about the type of people that exist in the world today. We are a nation of losers, unfortunately, in a lot of ways. And if you take people's job away from them, they'll just sit around eating weed gummies all day and jerking off. Like that's the fact of the matter. So I don't know what we expect to happen in places like Korea or Canada or like anywhere you tell people they can do nothing, there's a huge percentage of people who will become a problem for your society. Like, your birth rates will become a problem, like even more of a problem than they are now. Satisfaction will become a problem. Depression, suicide will become a problem. Like, it's not hard to figure this out. And by the way, I know you could say, well, Joey, there's studies that show that people are happier on UBI. They're more interested in pursuing passion projects, and those passion projects bring out the best in them. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. I don't believe it. And I also don't think that every passion project is made equal. Just because you want to finger paint in your grass and you think that that's a passion project, it's not. Okay. You're not going to be Aristotle or Socrates. You're not going to be Beethoven or Mozart. You're not even going to be Joey or Len. You're going to be a loser on your couch, jerking off with one hand, eating Doritos with the other. That's where most people will wind up when they're on UBI. If you want to know how that looks, by the way, check out what's going on in the States with the food stamps. Hordes of people who suddenly can't spend all their money on pop and chips, upset. They're gonna raid the stores and raid the White House and break into people's houses for what? I'll tell
Wait,
you.
could you just tell me a little bit about this? What is going on with this?
EBT checks are being frozen, I think, this week or next week, and the government's basically going to say, look, we're not going into our reserves to give people food stamps. Like, we don't have the 40 billion or whatever it costs. You're going to be without food stamps for a while.
Wow.
And people are freaking out. And like, the thing is, if you like, it's not hard to imagine the mind of these simpletons, these sort of 50 IQ morons who are on Twitter, freaking out about, oh, the food stamps are going to run out. I'm going to lose my food. Well, I don't know, man. They told you that 3 fucking weeks ago. What have you done in the 3 weeks? Nothing. Played Battlefield, unlocked some skins, Counter-Strike, and what else? Jerked off and ate Doritos. Okay. That's the kind of person you're giving UBI to. That person needs work. They need a gym and a schedule and a routine, because if you don't give them that, they will just melt into their couch and never to be heard from again. Certainly never to contribute to society. Give me a break. You know this. By the way, you work with people like this. You live near people like this. You may be a person like this and not even know. You may not even know. You don't know what you're going to be like when you have nothing going on for 6 months, for 12 months, for 18 months. You don't know what you're going to be like. Do not tempt this. Okay? Do not tempt this outcome by giving people free money. That's to say nothing of the economic repercussions in terms of price discovery for goods, price discovery for labor. Good luck, man. These guys are retarded. I don't know what else to say about this.
Well, before I go to sleep at night, I like to watch a little bit of YouTube. That's one of my.
Thank God! After all the
pleasures.
masturbation talk, there, I didn't know where you were going to go. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I rub one out. No, I like to. It's one of my guilty pleasures. I love to watch a little bit of YouTube before I go to sleep, and
yeah.
The ones that I have been watching lately, it's funny but sad at the same time, and it's just some bunch of dudes. I love watching trolling videos.
This is I love an eye into the mind of Len here. Here we go.
I love watching the trolling videos. Just absolutely love it. But these people, they're really good at trolling, but they do it in Red Dead Redemption and on Grand Theft Auto servers.
Like online.
Like, okay. So people run these servers, and I think they're outside the Rockstar stuff. So people must be hosting their own. And it's funny, but really sad at the same time. The sad part is there are people on these servers, and they live a life on these servers like they are in there. Like if you're in Red Dead Redemption, this is, I think, from the late 19th century in Louisiana. I think that's the setting.
It's the it's in the I played Red Dead Redemption.
I never did.
Great game, but I can't remember where it's set. It is late 1800s though. You're right about that.
And I think it's in New Orleans, so I'll just say Louisiana.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And so you see somebody's working as a doctor on there. Somebody's actually working as a doctor on there. And you see people working as bartenders, and they're living and acting the part. How little of a life do you have to do this? Right? Like, you're disconnected totally from reality, and you're using this as a way to, I don't know, maybe your life is
find fulfillment. Find fulfillment.
Maybe but it's a sad reality of what's going. And if there's more people like this that grow every day, just like every day there's more Bitcoiners, if more people fall in this trap every day, you lose something. You lose getting in touch with people, like the human touch. This is sad, man.
Yes, sir.
It works so well in a UBI system, because then you could then do this all day long, live your life of fantasy, never have to leave the fucking house, and you could pretend to be a doctor all day long in 19th century New Orleans. How sad is that? But the trolling, by the way, is absolutely incredible. These guys, they do it in such a way they always get banned within minutes. It's fucking great.
I do love a good like role playing YouTube channel.
I
haven't been playing video games almost at all lately, and I am like desperate for a game that captures my attention. I'm worried that I have aged out of video games, because I really did love playing, and now I just don't. Nothing really grabs me the way it did before.
You know what grabbed Donald Trump was the the commercial that was aired by the Ontario government pissed off Donald Trump with the Ronald Reagan Foundation over there. Now, apparently, Doug Ford and team, they ran this by Carney's people. I think it was
PMO.
Staff.
Yeah, PMO,
somebody over there gave them that. This is, I can't say for certain, but this is the rumor that's going around. So initially, it seemed like Ford went solo on this mission and pissed off Donald Trump and made himself the enemy of Canada at the same time. But if this is true, then the federal government, or at least the Prime Minister's office, at least gave it the thumbs up. Interesting. But wow, what a fucking terrible. They're not going to chat with them anymore.
EB's about to launch the same campaign today, right? For forestry in BC over in the States.
I thought you were talking EB Games. Okay.
No, David Eby. He took questions on it today. I was watching him and Fraser and someone else, I think maybe like the provincial attorney or something. And the question came up, like, are you still going to launch this campaign? Like after what happened with Ford? And he's like, yeah. Like,
I love this.
Okay, man. Like, all right, here we go. We're really all in on this, I guess.
Yeah.
Some of us are anyway.
At first you don't succeed, try and try again. But I guess if your neighbor didn't fucked up, you can improve on it and really fuck up.
Did you like the ad? Did you see it?
Yeah, I did. I saw the ad, and it seemed like it was taken out of context. At least that's the way I'm reading it. Because I saw the whole speech by Reagan, which is on YouTube, by the way. They're just the Ronald Reagan Foundation that and he was reading that from a piece of paper. Did you see him read it? Like there was no teleprompter.
I did not. But it was good.
He sat there with a piece of paper and didn't really look up to the camera. He was just reading the paper and just going through from page to page. Different time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't like the ad in the States thing as like a broad strategy point here. I think it's ill-advised to do that. I think it's easy to paint as propaganda, and I think it's true that it is propaganda at some level. And so I don't know why we would do that. We also, just as an aside, we continue to have no leverage in any of the trade talks with the United States or American companies. Stellantis, the most recent example, obviously. Stellantis, great. There's a great clip floating around on CTV, Vashi, Capellos, and a handful of people. There's a great clip floating around there where someone on the panel basically says, look, everyone can say whatever they want about the contracts that Stellantis had with the feds and with the province and all this stuff. But here's the thing. Stellantis knows they have those contracts too. They know there's going to be repercussions. They know they're going to be sued. They know it's going to be costly. They know they might lose, but they just don't care. Like no matter what the outcome is on all that, they'd rather be in the United States. What does that tell you about the Canadian economic environment? The Canadian business environment? It tells you everything you need to know. I do not need to see an ad from Ronald Reagan to tell me that this is a bad environment. And I'm seeing it over and over again, over and over and over and over again.
Now, those people that lost their job for Stellantis and
feel terrible for them, but predictable outcome. Show me how you voted, by the way. Show me how you voted.
Well, if you're going to paint them with the same brush, if I'm going to just say it, like they're probably going to be left leaning, unionized job, blue collar, right? Mm-hmm. Like typically you're like, look at Windsor in the past. It's generally, then you look at them, are they going to be more inclined for a UBI type system to be implemented?
Len, don't say it. Don't say it.
And now you have a growing contingent in this category of people that want it. They're a bigger voting bloc. And in order to appease them, politicians are going to have to give them something.
Yeah.
EEI can only cover you for so long. And it's not like during that EI period or at the end of it, there's going to be a new factory that's put up that they're able to start working in. When they shutter the Stellantis plants
it's over
in Brampton, and then the one in Ingersoll, the GM plant in Ingersoll. Yeah, it's going to take years before we see something come back. In this environment of this tariff stuff going on, they're not going to want to put business back in there. They're going to want to just wait it out, see what happens.
It's a real war, man. Not to mention that you're talking more and more about green initiatives and stuff. Like I thought we were done with this. we're still doing it. We refuse to be friendly to businesses here. You know, I've seen a lot of Twitter accounts really stop. They've really stopped being polite. Heather Exner-Piro, friend of the show, Martin Pelletier, who I'd like to get on the show at some point. He's not a Bitcoin guy, but we do agree on basically everything else. Like these people are well respected in the business, economic, and resource community, and they're usually very measured in their comments, and they're just not anymore. They're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like you're gonna keep losing jobs. How many things can the premier pour out of a bottle on a podium? I tweeted that picture of E Honda in the Street Fighter 2 bonus level, smashing up a car. Like, here's Doug Ford at the next press conference. Now Stellantis moved.
Very well done. That's good.
You know what I mean? Like, that seems to be where we're headed here. Like, what's he gonna do? He's gonna drive. He's gonna play bumper cars with a Stellantis SUV. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't understand.
Did you see that latest one? It was in Ingersoll, and GM were making electric vans over there.
Yeah, I did see this actually.
It was called the Bright Drop. Bright Drop is one word. Take a look at this image, what it is. Surprisingly, this has been on sale since 2023. 7,500 vehicles of these Bright Drops have been sold.
You know how much they cost? You know what a 2025 Chevy Bright Drop costs?
Is it 150? Is my guess?
125. So I don't know, maybe 150 with options, but 125 here on Auto Trader.
What options are going to get in that? It's just from
Windows. You want Windows or no?
So it's just sad that they set this up, and I'm not sure if this was done with any intervention by any level of government. This Bright Drop, because I know that they're pushing electric here and all that bullshit, and obviously there doesn't seem to be an appetite to buy these particular vehicles.
Yeah.
So we just hitched our wagon to this electric, and it doesn't seem to be going the right way. Volkswagen pulled out of Quebec not too long ago. Remember, after getting some
Northvolt
grants,
right? Another big, I think it was 60 billion we gave Northvolt. They pulled out as well, or went bankrupt, one or the other.
And I think we're still on pace for getting rid of all new cars that are sold after 2035 they're going to be all electric cars. So no internal combustion engine, light duty vehicles.
Or is it hybrid, or is it full electric?
I thought it was full electric. I can't remember. Yeah, it's an ever moving target. I think that they're going to change that as we get closer. And I know that they're trying to scale it in, like 20% one year, 30% another year, and 50%, like whatever the fuck it is. It's just not feasible. Not enough people have enough chargers at home. There's not enough power to go around to charge all the vehicles if people are going to transition to electric.
Did you
cars,
listen to the Business Cat? Business Cat and Fundamentals talking about exactly what you just mentioned there, how there's no charging infrastructure. And he was saying that on his trip, he took his Tesla then, all the chargers were old and slow. He thinks he's like, Tesla must be just dumping their old chargers in Ontario. Like, I haven't seen a charger like this in years. It doesn't work for the cars. Great. How would we know that? I didn't know that about the chargers that were going up. I thought they were decent chargers at the en routes. Apparently not. Apparently they're old garbage.
And we have a decent percentage of electric cars that are sold here compared to the States. You figure if they're going to put better chargers, it'd be here, because there's a lot more people that could take advantage of it. And if they're doing that, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's on Tesla, right? Tesla's doing this?
Tesla,
no?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure who decides what goes where, but I mean, presumably the province pays for the chargers at the en routes, right? Not Tesla.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but maybe there's some arrangement there. I'm not sure, but the point is they're old. It's old tech. So why are we putting it in? Like, why are we? It's just so weird. Everything we do is just weird, man. Budgets in 7 days, baby. Strap in. October, November 4th.
This is going to
November
be
4th. November 4th, we got the New York mayoral election and the federal budget. Yeah.
It's going to be a good day. Good talking points for the next week.
Can't wait.
Another good talking point is the Ontario driver's license changes that are going to be taking place. And I didn't know that was the case, but up until recently, you didn't have to show legal proof of status if you're a foreigner trying to get one of those driver's license. Now you have to be legal in order to drive in Ontario. Shocking. And
Do you know what
now I
shocking
know-
means? That's first. If it's the first time you use that word, I don't think it's that shocking.
No. I'm not, you won't, trust me, you're not going to knock me over with a feather here. And I'm amazed that some funny things here. Now, commercial driver's license, a Class A, you have to have at least 1 year of Canadian driver's experience. So before you could just get it right off the bat, you can just be Class A driver and start driving around those big trucks with very little experience. Foreign license recognition, you have to be from a certain group of countries in order to have that count as experience. India is not on a list. Italy's not on the list, by the way.
Whoa, India! Why would you mention India there? India's. What do you mean?
It's the two I's, Italy and India.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Not on the list. Yeah.
Good.
So, and you have to have valid residency in order to. All right. So the changes, big changes coming along. Will this result in safer drivers on the road? I do not know. Imagine if you are already a driver, you don't speak the language all that well. This news came out. Are you going to be able to digest this news because you can't comprehend it? It's just in a foreign language. So you're going to just be driving regardless, right? Until you finally get stopped. And you don't own a truck. Somebody else owns the truck. So as you're scanning the vehicle that the police do as they drive by, it's not like it's registered to the driver that doesn't have a fucking valid driver's license. So that guy's going to continue drive until he gets into an accident. And at that time, it's going to notice, oh shit, your license has been revoked because you don't have legal status here.
Very good. Very good.
What a disaster. I have nothing else to add to this.
We were talking about this offline. Are you at the point now where you want to steer clear of 400 series highways?
Nah, I'm still okay. And I want to point out that 3 weeks ago, I was in Hamilton. I mentioned this in the show, and I don't remember. Driving in Hamilton, and a truck making a left on a street. Like we're stuck in traffic. I was far back, and he was making a left, and he almost ran me over. I had to fucking reverse backwards and then I almost got fucking run over, man, by a fucking truck.
You almost became a Hamilton man.
I almost became, incredibly. So, you know what? Even though I went through that whole ordeal, I still drive. I still feel pretty confident in my driving abilities to avoid this bullshit. So, at least right now, I'm okay.
Okay. I'm in the same boat. I'm going to keep driving on the 400 series highways. I'm paying for them. I may as well use them. I can't let... I can't let newcomers steer me away. No pun intended.
Do you want to do the Hamilton versus Brampton man segment?
Let's do it. Let's get out of here. My throat is starting to tickle. You can see me coughing more and more. This is brought to you by our friends at 256 Heat. Twan is a legend. I mentioned at the conference that 256 heaters are not only great because they obviously work very well. Like I'm, heating with hash over here, paying a little bit to heat a room like this, which is obviously very cold during the winter, and getting Bitcoin KYC free in return. That's great. But also, as I mentioned at the conference, passes the wife smell test. Looks good, very quiet, energy efficient, and Twan's always got your back in terms of like support and stuff too, which is sick. So if you got a 120 volt plug in your house, hit Twan up. If you got something bigger than that, hit Twan up. He's got a fix for you. You want to heat a gym, heat a room, whatever. He's your guy. So hit him up, 256heat.com. Tell him we sent you, and you get a little bit of discount on the S19 models. Here we go.
All right,
I'm closing the chat. Okay, here we are. Blind.
Famous Hamilton versus Brampton man segment. You can play at home, play along with us, figure out which of the story belongs to a Hamilton man, which one belongs to a Brampton man. So
by the way, before we start this, I was approached by an Indian woman at the conference who I thought won a contest. She didn't win the contest, unfortunately, but she made it clear to me, very clear, that she loves the Brampton man versus Hamilton man segment. She said, even though I am Indian and it's always about an Indian guy being an idiot, I think it's great. And my husband is Filipino and he thinks it's great too. And I said, you know what? Love it. So if you're listening today, miss, this is for you. It's for you. I'm dedicating this Brampton Hamilton man segment to you and your husband. Let's get after it.
All right. So we have police in Canada. They arrested this man after an ambulance was set on fire outside a hospital early Sunday morning.
Okay.
And the incident occurred around 6 a.m. on October 19th, shortly after paramedics dropped off a patient at an Ontario hospital. Medics found the ambulance on fire after returning to the ambulance, authorities said. And investigators determined that a suspect had allegedly thrown an accelerant into the ambulance before running away on foot. And surveillance footage and witness accounts helped officer identify the man, who was located at a nearby bus stop and taken into custody without incident, police said. And it was a 31-year-old man, no fixed address, facing multiple charges, including arson, 3 counts of failing to comply with a probation order. Story number 1.
Okay.
Number 2. Man granted bail in kidnapping case after victim was allegedly
It's already over. It's already over.
sadistically tortured inside a U-Haul. So
What are we going to keep going for? Why we can just stop now? Go ahead.
so a man is accused of violating of a violent kidnapping case. He was released on bail, by the way, under strict supervision following a special hearing. He was one of 5 people connected in charge with doing a kidnapping of this guy and torturing that took place on September 27th. Granted bail, and under the term of his release, he must remain under house arrest and be required to wear a GPS ankle monitor and must be supervised by family members at all time. And so the police alleged that the group kidnapped the man, who was later found beaten and bound inside an abandoned gas station. Officers responded to the reports of suspicious activity involving the U-Haul van parked at the site. And the victim, his name has been protected for a publication ban, and he was taken to hospital with serious injuries. The 5 men were charged with kidnapping, forcible confinement, break and enter, attempted murder, and weapons-related offenses. And it looks like this guy had prior criminal conviction before, breaking and entering, violent offenses. And so there's a publication ban right now on the bail hearings right now, so we can't really talk about what's going on. We are though. Either way, fuck it. It's expected to appear in a virtual courtroom early in the new year. And
Just want to be clear about the second story here. Did I hear you correctly that the court is outsourcing the supervision of this man to his family? Did I hear that right?
Yes, that is correct. He has been supervised by family members at all times. Yes, house arrest.
Which family members? Do we know?
No, it doesn't say.
I mean, this is clearly the Brampton man, the second guy. There's a U-Haul truck. There's priors. There's bail. It's obviously a Brampton man type. So that's an easy one. I would have, even though I already know the Hamilton man story, I know the ambulance story is in Hamilton. I would have guessed this one anyway, because the secondary characteristics of that second story are so obvious. The only thing you're missing there is the guy, was arrested in bare feet. That would have been the only other giveaway.
There we go. You're correct. So
Love it.
This was a recent story, and I kind of suspected you heard the Hamilton man story, but it might have flew under the radar given you were sick.
Did you see the video of the Hamilton guy setting the ambulance on fire?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That was at that's in the general. It's at the general roundabout for ambulances. So that's near, little inside baseball here in Hamilton. That is not far from Wayside House, where I am the vice chair of the directors, and that is a community that has been affected by mental illness, addiction, stuff like that. So to see that happen in that area of the city, not surprising at all. I'm glad the cops were able to pick that guy up. But that could have been a lot worse, because that is a high foot traffic area right there, as you can imagine. So good to see they got that under control pretty quick.
For our Christmas show, maybe we can do a whole bunch of different cities. We could do Hamilton versus
Start
Brampton,
collecting.
of course.
You got about 8 weeks. So
Calgary versus Edmonton, Quebec versus Montreal, Vancouver versus
I don't know. Vancouver
Seattle?
versus I could go to Seattle, or Portland versus Seattle. We could go hard in the States there. That's a heavyweight bout of men versus men up there.
Windsor versus Detroit.
Yeah, Windsor's another place.
It's
completely
across the
forgotten
border.
time.
Niagara Falls, United States versus something. Like, you gotta go with Niagara Falls or Buffalo, something. Like,
we're saying Sault Ste. Marie, man. Like, that's another place.
So okay, there we go. I would love to know some suggestions of some cities you want to have go head to head. I don't know, 10 of them, I'm guessing. Maybe
we'll do it. We'll do a special release that week, because we won't do a show that week. We'll do Christmas, but we'll record this in advance and
just release it, just drop
it. Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy.
Exactly. So there you go. Love that. I love it. Okay, let's
Yeah,
get out of
let's
here.
be a
Good
fan.
show. Thanks everybody for listening. Thank you, Len, for hosting last week and the week before without me. I appreciate it. And to all you guys, man, thanks for keeping CBP top of the food chain. We love you guys. We'll talk to you hopefully Wednesday with Mr. Arnaud.
And don't be a Sault Ste. Marie man.